Good. Said a little tired. Yeah, I feel that. It's like right around this time of the day, everything starts winding down. It's a good question, but look at you, here you are. We're good to go. Alrighty, well, we'll go ahead and get started. If you're practicing from home today, you might like a blanket, 2 blocks, and a strap. If you don't have a strap, you could use like a scarf or a belt or something similar. But we'll get started lying on our backs today. So a couple options here in Shavasana. You can lie flat on your back with your knees bent and the soles of your feet grounded, or you can take a subtle little heart opener. So if you've got a blanket, you can roll it up and place it along the base of your spine. Just making sure that your head is supported as well as we come down into this position. A little bit of a deeper variation might look like bringing 1 block between the shoulder blades and 1 block underneath the head. And then beginning to lie down on your back. Legs can be straight, maybe soles of the feet together if that feels good in your body. And begin to settle in. And we'll be here for just a few moments connecting with our breath. So as you settle in, do a little full body scan, noticing how this position feels in your body. And if you can make a few little slight micro adjustments, that might help you to find a little bit more comfort. And since this is an all levels flow, I'll be giving a bunch of different options as we move through our practice for depth or maybe for deepening or more strengthening. So this is just my little plug to listen to your body, honor what feels good, and honor how you showed up today. Like some days we might be feeling a little bit more energized, and other days we're looking for a little bit more of a still and gentle practice. So don't feel like you have to push into shapes that don't feel good today. So if you haven't already, you can close your eyes or take a nice soft gaze down the tip of your nose, beginning to connect with your breath. And as you draw your breath in and out through the nose, start to guide your awareness out of your mind and into your heart. Feeling the heart expand and release with the ebbing and flowing of the breath. And our heart center is really our place that connects our physical body with our more spiritual body. So today we're going to talk about the story of Hanuman and how it relates to us in our lives. So starting in a heart opener to open our hearts to these stories and legends of yoga that call us back to our own heroic hearts. Right? Sometimes in life, we're going through this journey where we overcome these obstacles and we're able to alchemize all of the situations in our life to help us grow, to help us expand. So in that way, each of us is on our own hero's journey with those various stages of initiation and alchemical soul growth. And the language of our soul is very metaphoric and mythic. And so these stories that we tell about the Hindu gods and goddesses are more like less literal and more like gateways for us to be able to embody that wisdom and let it arise within us so we can navigate the challenges in our lives with curiosity and inquiry and the spirit of play. So we'll take 2 more nice deep breaths here before moving on to our next posture, trying to equalize the breath, letting the inhale and exhale be the exact same rate. Beautiful. And then as you're ready, you can slowly begin to ground your feet and roll over onto one side, just moving whatever props you've got underneath you out to the side. Before you come back down onto your back, make sure you've got your strap within arm's distance And you've got a block towards the wherever your head is on your mat. So to start our practice, we'll start with a little dynamic movement. You can begin to hug your knees into your chest, giving yourself a great big hug. Knees can rock side to side, or maybe drawing a couple circles, bringing the knees in, out, and around. And if you're drawing those circles with your knees, just make sure to balance it out and draw the same amount in the opposite direction. And then as you're ready, you've done those movements all in equal directions. Put your hands down by your sides and start to kick your heels up towards the sky. Toes draw in towards the shin bones, really finding that length through the backs of the legs and grounding your lower back down towards the earth. Feel the top of your pelvis tip up towards the bottom ribs and feel your belly engage. On your inhale, take a deep breath in and open your legs to a V, finding a nice stretch through the inner thighs. As you exhale, guide the heels back together. And as you inhale, lower your right leg down to hover a couple inches above the mat. Inhale to lift your leg and exhale to slowly lower the left leg down to hover. Nice job. Inhale to lift the leg. Exhale, open the legs to a V. Finding a little bit more depth here. Inhale, squeeze the heels together. Exhale, lower the right leg down. Nice. Inhale to lift. Exhale over to the opposite side. If it doesn't feel good to have straight legs here, you can always have your knees bent and dip your toes. One more time. Inhale, open the legs to a V. Exhale, squeeze them together. Inhale, lower the right leg to hover. Exhale to lift. Nice. Last time, lower to hover and to lift. Nice. From here, begin to hug the left knee into the chest and slowly lower the right leg all the way down towards the earth. You can keep your head grounded, or if it feels okay, tuck your chin and guide your forehead towards your knee for a single leg Apanasana. Stay grounded through the back of your right leg and draw the right toes in towards you. Nice job. Begin to slowly lower your head back down towards the earth and find your strap. We'll unravel the strap and wrap the strap around the ball of your left foot. Keep staying nice and grounded through your right leg. Keep the strap in both hands, and you can have a soft bend in your knee or keep the leg straight as you guide the left leg in towards you. We'll take 3 nice deep breaths here. So work with your breath and try to soften your hamstrings. Feeling the hamstrings lengthen a little bit more with each exhale, guiding the leg a little bit closer to you. And after your 3rd nice deep breath here, switch the strap into your left hand. Begin to ground your right hand down towards your hip. Take a deep breath in and open the left leg out towards the side, any amount that feels good in your body, any amount that allows the right hip to stay nice and grounded. And again, we'll come back to our nice deep breaths, working with the breath to soften, this time the inner thighs, allowing them to open. Beautiful. After your 3rd nice deep breath here, start to lift the heels straight up from the hip and switch hands with your strap. Right hand comes to the strap. Left hand can come out by the side, either cactus arm with the back of the palm grounded down and the elbow bent, or arm to T, palm facing down. Try to keep your left hip grounded and begin to guide the heel over towards the right side of your mat. So now we're looking for length along the IT bands, that big band of muscle that, or fascia that connects the hip all the way down to the knee and all the way down to the ankle. So guiding our nice deep breaths here. Beautiful. On your next inhale, start to lift the heels straight up from the hip and bring the strap back into your left hand. Bring your right arm out to T in line with your shoulder, palm faces down. And we'll start to roll over onto the right side body here. This is where the block might come in handy. You can start to slide it underneath the right side of your head just for a little extra balance. And now we're taking couch pose. So on the outer edge of the hip, We'll try to lift the heel up towards the sky and press down through the bottom leg to feel a nice stretch through the right outer hip. If you'd like to challenge your balance here, begin to bring the right hand back by your hip and roll onto the right tricep. So noticing how that challenges the balance here as you lift the heel up towards the sky and root down through the right hip. Nice. One more breath here and use your exhale to slowly bring both hips down towards the earth. You can move your block out from underneath your head and slide your right heel back underneath the knee. So the right foot comes grounded on the floor, knee is bent straight up. Cross your left ankle over your right knee and remove your strap from the ball of your foot. You can just move it off to the side here. A couple options for depth, you can keep the right foot grounded, or it might feel nice to hug the right thigh in towards you. You can rock side to side here in your figure 4, or find stillness, pressing the left knee away from you, engaging the left foot and hugging the right knee into your chest. Nice. Take one more nice deep breath in and out here. And then you can use your exhale to ground your right foot back down and uncross your legs. Nice. Heel toe your feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart. And begin to let the knees come side to side in a windshield wiper action, resetting the hips and resetting the lower back. And we'll just repeat the whole flow on the opposite side. So as you're ready, hug the knees into your chest. This time, hands stay clasped around the right shin bone and stretch the left leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, slowly lower the left leg all the way down towards the earth. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, tuck your chin, bring your forehead towards your right knee for single leg wind reliever pose, Apanasana. Rooting down through the back of your left leg, draw the toes in towards the shin bone, and slowly begin to lower your head back down. Find your strap, wrap the strap around the ball of your right foot, and then begin to stretch the leg up towards the sky. Strap comes to both hands here to start. Ground down through your left leg and use your breath to allow the hamstrings to soften, guiding the thigh in towards you. And one thing that people sometimes don't know about Hanuman is that he's an incarnation of Shiva, the destroyer. And so Shiva decides that in an act of devotion, he's going to incarnate as Hanuman to give Lord Rama the kind of like keys to the kingdom. He realizes that because people are so focused on themselves and the one consciousness, it's causing war. But Rama is the symbol of devotion and unconditional love. Bring the strap to your right hand and your left hand to your hip and start to open your right leg out to the side, finding that opening through the inner thigh. Stay grounded through your left hip. Don't let it travel with you. Finding those nice deep breaths and using the exhale to release whatever tensions, whatever holds, whatever stagnation might be present. After your third deep breath here, bring the heels straight up from the hip and switch your hands. This time strap comes to the left hand. Right hand can come to T or to cactus. And use your exhale to guide the foot over towards the left this time. Keep rooting out through your right heel. Find that stretch all the way from the right hip down the outer leg to the heel. Working with those nice deep breaths to find softness and opening on the other side of that expansion. Beautiful. After your third breath here, lift the heels straight up to the sky and bring your strap into your right hand. Begin to bring your left arm to T and roll over onto the left side body. Keep pressing the right heel up towards the sky. in your couch pose. Yep, so rolling onto the side body, arm comes to T, or if you liked it on the other side to challenge your balance, slide the left hand down by the side body and try to roll onto the tricep to balance there. Yeah, and keep rooting out through your left foot. The bottom of the foot presses towards the front of your mat to really feel that stretch and lengthening through the left outer hip, so the grounded hip. Beautiful. And one more breath here, but use your exhale to slowly guide both hips and both shoulders back down towards the mat. Bend your left knee and bring the heel underneath the knee, grounding the foot down towards the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left knee and remove your strap off to the side for your figure four stretch. You can hug your left knee in towards the chest, maybe rock side to side, or just find that nice stillness working with the breath to help you find a little bit more softness and a little bit more ease here. And so when Hanuman was born, he was born half mortal and half God. And because he was kind of a troublesome little half God, at one point in his life, he was fatally struck down by the sun god named Surya. And because of this mischievousness. And so his dad was Vayu, the god of the wind. And when Vayu heard this, he held his breath and threatened the livelihood of humanity. So Surya and all the gods came together to find a compromise, and they gave Hanuman back to Vayu and his wife. But the only condition was that he forgot his divinity. So as you're ready, you can ground your foot back down if you haven't and uncross your legs. Two options for coming up to seat here. You can begin to lift your knees in towards the chest, floating the legs, lift the shoulders and lift the head, and then hinge up to your boat pose, or you can roll over onto one side and press yourself up. So we'll meet in boat pose. Hands can come underneath the thighs, maybe reaching the arms forward. Squeeze your knees in towards the midline. Nice job. Take one more nice deep breath here, and as you exhale, ground your feet, ground your hands. Straighten the legs out in front of you. And this is where we'll find our blocks. So you can either use your rolled up blanket or your blocks underneath your knees just to create a little bend here. Then bring your hands to the outer edges of your thighs. Nice. Take a deep breath in, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart. And as you exhale, slowly tuck your chin and slide your fingers down towards your ankles. You can let your spine round, kind of like a seated cat-cow. Inhale, lift the heart, squeeze the elbows back, lift your gaze. And as you exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin, press the spine towards the back of your mat. One more time with your own breath, deep breath in, squeeze those elbows together, lift your gaze. And exhale, slide the fingers down towards the ankles. Nice. On your inhale, slowly roll up to a neutral spine and move your blocks off towards the side. Hug your right knee into your chest. I'll give you a couple options here. So you can either use your strap, wrap it around the ball of your foot and hold it in your left hand, or you can take your peace fingers and wrap it around your big toe. The last option would be to take your hand and bring it to the outer edge of your foot. And then we'll lift the foot up, pointing it out in front of you. On your next natural exhale, twist the right arm back and around, bringing your gaze behind you. And if it feels okay, you can start to straighten your right leg. So really press that right heel away from you, reach your right fingertips back, feeling that nice length here. Beautiful. One more nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, come forward, cross your right foot over the left leg, and ground your left hand underneath your shoulder. So the right toes are going to point out towards the left side of your mat. Pivot onto the outer edge of your hip, outer edge of your left foot, and begin to press down through your right foot to lift into a modified side plank. So hips lift up, shoulders and wrists stay stacked. Hips are stacked. Reach the right arm up and over to almost make like a little rainbow with your body. So arching up through the right side of your body. Yep, find that nice side body stretch. Take one more nice deep breath in here, and as you exhale, slowly begin to ground the hips and uncross the legs, straightening them both out in front of you. Nice. You can give it a little shake, wiggling the fascia on your legs, just finding that reset. Nice. Then hug the left knee into the chest. Whatever hold you found on the opposite side, repeat that here. And then begin to float your left foot up off the mat. Twist your left arm back and straighten your left leg as much as feels good for you. Nice. Breathing into the heart, finding that length. And so just like Hanuman, sometimes us humans can get bogged down by all those stories that we tell ourselves or the stories that we're told in the media. And we don't spend enough time remembering and connecting to our own inner divinity. We feel like maybe we can't overcome these obstacles or something feels impossible to us. And we forget that deep in our heart, we have that inner guide to help us move forward. So as you're ready, you can begin to come back forward on an inhale, cross the left leg or left foot on the other side of your right leg, and ground your right hand down under the shoulder. Pivot onto the outer edge of your hip and foot and begin to lift up, coming to modified side plank pose. Nice. Left arm reaches up and over, arching up through the left side of the body. Beautiful. One more nice deep inhale here, and use your exhale to ground your hips, straighten the legs. You can give them one more shake. Maybe bringing your upper body into it, just releasing any stagnation and getting all that energy flowing. From here, we'll take two options. You can either kick your heels around to the side and come to tabletop, or cross your ankles, roll onto hands and knees, coming to your tabletop pose. So once you found your tabletop pose, totally optional to bring your blanket underneath your knees for a little extra support. Feel free to find whatever movement might feel good, a couple cat-cows, maybe some C curves, or any fun movements that your body feels called to make right now. Before we come to standing here, if they're not already, make sure your blocks are right towards the front of your mat, just so we've got them for easy access. And then begin to find some stability in your tabletop pose. Wrists right underneath the shoulders, knees right underneath the hips. Feel the tops of your hip bones sew up to those bottom ribs to find that connection, and then stretch your right heel back in space. Look underneath you, check in with all 5 toes. We want the hips right next to each other and all 5 toes dialing straight down. If it feels okay, float your left arm forward, lift your heel and stretch your left fingertips forward. Feeling that connection through the core and the back body and finding that balance. Begin to ground your left hand and your right knee. Take a deep breath in, drop the belly, roll the shoulders back. And as you exhale, around the spine and take the hips back to the heels for devotional pose. Hanuman really is the symbol of devotion. He is the basically the representative of bhakti yoga, which is devotion to our practice, devotion to our inner light, and devotion to overcoming those obstacles that help us to learn more about ourselves and others so we can serve the greater good. So as you're ready, round your spine all the way back up to tabletop pose. Shoulders over wrists, kick the left heel long, dial all 5 toes down, draw the belly in, press up through the shoulder blades and float your right arm forward, finding that balance, finding that length. Pressing the heel away from you, lift it to feel the glute engage, draw the belly in and reach long. Nice job. One more breath in, and as you exhale, ground down. Both hands, both knees. You can leave your blanket right where it's at. Tuck the toes under, lift your hips up and back. Come to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Ground down through the heels, lift high through the hips, tuck your chin and bring your gaze between your knees. Begin to pedal the heels or nod the head left and right to find a little bit more depth, a little bit more ease, maybe even a little bit more effort here. On your next inhale, begin to look between your hands, step or walk your feet towards the front of your mat, finding Uttanasana. Have the feet hips distance apart. You can bring your hands to opposite elbows and have a nice generous bend in your knees. The belly might even rest on the thighs as you tuck your chin and reach the crown of the head long towards the mat. Sway side to side or find some stillness here, listening to what's most needed in your body. On your next inhale, begin to lift halfway up. You can straighten your legs, straighten your spine, bring the hands to the shins and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Use your exhale to melt forward. Inhale, rise all the way up to Tadasana. Arms reach tall towards the sky. Exhale, follow your thumbs down to your heart. Connecting with that inner light. Take a deep breath in, stretch the arms out to T, bring hands to opposite elbow behind you. If the hands don't come to opposite elbow, it's okay to bring them to the forearms or the wrists. Begin to squeeze the elbows together and lift your gaze. Take a deep breath in, reach tall through the chin. Exhale, tuck your chin down towards your collarbone. Find length through the back of your neck. On your inhale, roll your right ear over towards the right shoulder. You can lift your chin up and down, finding the place where the stretch feels best for you. Take one more breath in, and as you exhale, tuck your chin back in towards the collarbone and take your inhale to roll over towards the left side. Left ear towards left shoulder, lift the chin up and down. Breathe some space into the neck. As you exhale, tuck your chin back to center. And on your inhale, unwind, lift the gaze, reach tall, feel the ribcage lift up off the pelvis. Exhale, fold forward with that same length. And we'll find our blocks here. Moving through our first flow, begin to step your left foot back, come to our runner's lunge, and then ground your back knee down towards the earth. So low lunge here. On your inhale, lift your heart, roll your shoulders back. Optional to squeeze your left heel in towards the glute. As you exhale, ground your foot, straighten the right leg, draw the toes in towards the shin, and walk your hands back underneath the shoulders, half splits pose. So the inhale, knee bends over the ankle, roll the shoulders back, lift your gaze, maybe toes point up towards the sky. Exhale, walk the hands back, straighten the right leg, draw the toes in. One more time, inhale, hinge forward, find your low lunge variation. And exhale, walk the hands back, find your half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana pose. We'll hold here for a breath or two. You can point and flex your toes, maybe internally and externally rotate. Just finding a little space here. Hands can come to the heart, maybe hands airplane behind you, finding a little bit more engagement through the back body, squeezing those shoulder blades together, and squeezing the pinkies together behind you. Take one more nice deep breath in and out here. And then you can use your next exhale to ground your hands and your inhale to walk them back forward. Tuck your left toes under, lift your back knee up off the mat, runner's lunge. From here, you can step your back foot in, maybe an inch or two, and begin to ground the left foot down to a 45-degree angle. You can move your blanket out of the way if you'd like. We're taking pyramid pose, so the hips are square, soft bend in both knees, the legs are mostly straight. And we'll find a little bit of a flow here. So as you're ready, begin to walk your hands maybe an inch or two forward. You can bring your blocks with you. Soft bend in the right knee. Lift your left heel for half splits pose. So the leg and the upper body are about parallel to the floor. This will be our inhale. And as you exhale, ground your right or left foot down towards pyramid. You can stay here, or you can bend your left knee and draw the right toes in towards you. Yeah, nice. Inhale, hands walk forward, ground down through the right foot and float your left heel, half splits pose. Exhale, ground your left foot, walk the hands back, maybe draw the toes in and bend your back knee. Last time here, walk the hands forward, float the left heel, and exhale, ground your foot, walk the hands back, maybe draw the toes in towards you. Nice job, yogis. Ground the left or right toes down. Taking a deep breath in your pyramid pose, and as you exhale, step the left foot forward, Uttanasana. Soft bend in the knees, let your hands come to a place that feels good in your body. So here you can have your hands towards opposite elbows. Maybe they come to clasp behind the head, finding a little bit more length through the back body. On your next inhale, lift halfway up, hands to the shins, spine parallel to the floor, and as you exhale, melt forward. You can find your blocks here, step the right foot back, runner's lunge. Ground the right knee down towards the earth for your low lunge. Feel free to slide your blanket underneath the knee. Begin to roll the shoulders back, lift the gaze, maybe point the right toes up towards the sky. As you exhale, hinge back to your half splits pose, straightening the left leg, drawing the toes in, walking the hands back in towards you. Inhale, walk forward, bend the knee, maybe lift the toes, lift the gaze, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, walk your hands back, straighten the leg, draw the toes in. Nice job. One more time. Inhale to walk forward, maybe knees bent, gaze lifts. Exhale, take it back to your half splits pose. And here, take whatever movements you took on the opposite side. If you like that airplane variation, come back to that. And we'll hold for just a couple breaths. Breathing into the areas that feel a little stagnant, maybe like they need a little bit more space. And keeping your mind centered between the four corners of your mat. So each time maybe a thought pops into your head that's not so kind or kind of separates you from that inner divinity, just guide your awareness back to your breath, back to your body. As you're ready, begin to walk the hands forward, coming to your low lunge. Tuck the back toes under, lift your right knee. Step the foot in about an inch, ground it down to a 45-degree angle for your pyramid pose. Keep your hips nice and square right next to each other. So roll your right hip forward, press your left hip back, and we'll find our flow here. So as you inhale, walk the hands forward, soft bend in the left leg, straighten the right heel behind you. Exhale, ground the right foot to a 45-degree angle, optional to lift the left toes and bend your right knee. Inhale, ground down through the foot, lift the right heel, standing L. Exhale to your pyramid variation. One more time, working with lengthening the hamstrings. Inhale the right heel high, all 5 toes point down. Exhale, pyramid, maybe drawing the toes in, shift the hips back. Nice. As you're ready, ground the foot down, square your hips, finding your uttanasana or your pyramid. Take your inhale to step your right foot forward, Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to rise halfway up, and as you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, and take it all the way back to your tabletop pose. So knees and shins come down towards the earth. If you'd like a little bit more strength, you can come to plank pose, lifting the knees and pressing the heels away from you. And we'll lower down onto the belly from here. So shift the shoulders over the fingertips, squeeze the elbows in, belly, chest, and chin come down towards the earth. All 5 toes ground down towards the mat. Take a deep breath in, lift your gaze, lift your heart. Roll your shoulders back, squeeze your elbows in, really finding that strength and that lift from the lower back. Beautiful. One more breath in your cobra pose. And as you exhale, slowly lower back down towards your mat. Tuck your toes under, press yourself up to your tabletop, and exhale all the way back to your downward facing dog. So we'll just build on our flow this round, adding a couple more holds, maybe a couple different variations for depth or to challenge our balance. So listen to your body and do what feels best for you tonight. In your downward facing dog, it might feel nice to lift the right leg up towards the sky. Taking three-legged dog, stay grounded through the left heel and really reach through the right heel, pointing all 5 toes down. Take one more breath here, and then as you exhale, ground the foot, and we'll come over to the opposite side. Lift the left heel up towards the sky. Nice. Ground down through your right heel, pressing down through the palms, really finding that nice lift. Beautiful. One more breath in, and as you exhale, ground the foot down. Take your inhale, look between your hands, step, walk, or jump to the top of your mat in your Uttanasana. Here in Uttanasana, you can repeat whatever arm variation felt good for you so far. Another option might be to bring the hands to clasp behind the back. Lifting the knuckles as much as feels good. Stay strong through your shoulders. So don't compromise your form or your strength in your shoulders. And find that nice stretch here, bending the knees, letting the head hang heavy, feeling that expansion through the chest. Beautiful. One more deep breath in, and as you exhale, release your clasp. Inhale to lift halfway up, strengthen your back, plug the shoulders in, exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Deep breath in, lift your fingers, and exhale, guide your thumbs down to the heart. On your next inhale, sweep the arms tall towards the sky, and as you exhale, keep that length, fold forward. So building on our flow here, bring your hands to your blocks or down towards the earth and step your left foot back. Lower the right or left knee down, so you can bring your blanket underneath your knee for a little extra support, and we'll find our low lunge. This time in low lunge, walk the hands on the inside of the right foot, coming to lizard pose. And in your lizard pose, you can feel free to deepen as much as feels good. So if you want to come down onto the forearms, on your blocks, this might feel nice. Always optional to just stay right on the hands and work from here. Letting the hip melt down towards the earth and squeezing the right knee in towards the shoulders. So you can stay in this variation of lizard pose, or if you'd like, we'll take a twisted lizard variation, Radha Krishnasana. So if you'd like to take that variation, step your left hand out towards the outer edge of your mat, kind of rolling on to that left hand, reach the right arm up towards the sky. Yeah, and then if it feels okay, you might bend your left heel in towards you, maybe even reaching for the foot behind you, yogi's choice though. Pause in the place where you still can feel that freedom in your breath and allow the breath to guide you a little deeper. Gorgeous, gorgeous yogis. One more nice deep breath in here and out. Release your hand and foot on the inhale, and as you exhale, slowly walk the hands back towards center. You can find your blocks again. Maybe staying here or bringing one hand then the next to the thighs. The last variation will be to stretch the arms up towards the sky. If you'd like, bring your hands behind the back. You can bring hands to opposite elbows again, or maybe hands clasped behind for a heart opener. Let the heart reach tall towards the sky as the hips melt down towards the earth. Last variation here, if you'd like, you can bend the left heel in towards the glute. Maybe bring one or both hands to the foot, finding that balance, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the heart. As you're ready, begin to release. You can bring your hands down towards your blocks or the floor, and bring the hands to frame your right foot. Tuck your left toes under, lift your knee. Straighten the front leg and bring the left foot to a 45-degree angle for pyramid pose. So in this pyramid pose, you can bring the arms to cactus, maybe arms to airplane, and that'll be more engaging. And then if you'd like to work on deepening through the hamstrings, you can walk your hands back towards your left foot letting the belly melt down towards the thigh, and feel free to use your blocks as well, bringing the floor a little closer to you. You'll have the bottoms of the wrist pointing towards the front of the mat and the fingertips pointing towards the back of the mat. Nice. Yep. Chest expander might feel nice here too. So feel free to find that arm alignment that works best for you in your practice today. Nice. As you're ready, begin to walk the hands back forward, grounding them down. We'll find our half splits pose. So soft bend in the right knee, start to walk the hands forward and shift the left heel up towards the sky. You can keep your hands grounded on your blocks, maybe lower them down towards the earth. And another variation might be to bring one or both hands to the ankle, challenging the balance. So you can bring your gaze to a drishti point, lifting the left heel nice and high. And notice how engaging the quadricep helps to give a little bit of permission for the hamstring to lengthen. Nice. Working here for just one more breath. And then as you're ready, cross the left ankle behind the right ankle and come to your blocks or walk the hands back in towards you for a cross leg forward fold. So here we have the right ankle crossed in front of the left ankle. Let your belly melt down as much as feels good. Taking a couple breaths here, just a little bit of a different variation of a forward fold. On your next inhale, float the left heel back and ground it down to meet the right. Take an inhale to lift halfway up. Find that strength through the back body. Exhale, bend your knees, step the right leg back. Coming to your runner's lunge, slide your blanket underneath your knee if you like that on the opposite side, and then go ahead and ground the right knee down. Then begin to walk your hands on the inside of your left foot, finding your variation of lizard pose. So you can feel free to stay on the hands, maybe lowering down onto your forearms with the blocks. Find the depth that suits your body and find the depth where you can still breathe. Our breath is a really great thing to check in with throughout our practice to notice if maybe we've gone a little bit too deep into a posture. That's when the breath gets a little short and choppy. If you liked it on the opposite side, you can come onto your hands, walk the right hand out to the outer edge of the mat and stretch the left arm up towards the sky. Next variation is to hug the right heel in towards the glute and maybe even reach back with the left fingertips. If you can make contact with the foot, that's great. If not, just feel that stretch, reaching back and hugging the left heel or the right heel in towards you. Take one more nice deep breath in and out here. And then on your next inhale, ground the foot, lift the left hand. Walk the hands back to center, coming onto your blocks. Here you can keep your hands on your blocks. This is a great variation. The next option will be to walk the hands onto the thighs. And then the next option will be to stretch the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, find your clasp behind, hands to opposite wrist, forearms, elbows, or even palms. Then begin to roll the shoulders back and lift the heart, no matter where you're at. If you liked trying that on the opposite side, you can guide the right heel in towards the glute. Maybe grab the foot with one hand and use the left arm for balance, or you can bring both hands to your foot, roll the shoulders back, lift your heart, finding that balance here. Leading from the heart. Begin to ground your hands back down towards your blocks or the floor and frame the left foot with your hands and blocks. Tuck the right toes under, lift your right knee up for runner's lunge. Step the right foot in just an inch and ground it down to your 45-degree angle. We'll find our pyramid pose here, so square the hips. Right hip rolls forward, left hip rolls back. Find the variation you took on the opposite side. So maybe airplane arms, cactus arms, or you can even walk the hands back towards the right foot and let the belly melt down towards the thigh. And we'll take a couple breaths here. Yeah, another variation was the chest expander. So just remember what you took on the opposite side and work to find that balance here. And so when Hanuman met Ram, he became devoted to him and Sita. He would do anything for these two. And at one point in their journey, Ram's kingdom was threatened by the evil Ravana, and his wife Sita was kidnapped and brought to Sri Lanka. So as you're ready, ground your hands, walk your hands a couple inches forward and start to float your right heel. Finding the half splits variation you took on the opposite side, you can keep your hands on your blocks, maybe hands to the earth, maybe one or both hands to the ankle as you squeeze your right heel up towards the sky. And so since King Rama's kingdom was being threatened, he couldn't go save Sita himself. And so he entrusted in this very special mission for Hanuman. And Hanuman wasn't sure if he was up to the task. Remember, he couldn't remember his divinity. But because this big obstacle was put in front of him, he started to remember just who he was. Take one more deep inhale here. And as you're ready, cross the right ankle behind the left ankle. Walk your hands back in towards you for a cross-leg forward fold. Nice job, yogis. Take a couple breaths here, letting the head hang heavy, letting the belly melt down towards the thighs. Taking one more breath here and then begin to transition out of this. Hands can walk forward, lift the right heel up towards the sky and ground it down to meet the left. Nice. From here, heel toe your feet a little bit wider than your mat. You can bend one knee and then the other, finding a little bit of side to side movement here. And then allow yourself to fold forward, just taking one last variation on a forward fold here. So stretching all different parts of our hamstrings, quadriceps, calves. Nice. Begin to lift halfway up, heel toe your feet back in towards center. And come to your forward fold. So we'll take our peak pose here. Step your left foot back towards the back of the mat, runner's lunge. Begin to ground your left knee down towards the earth. So you can take whatever variation of splits feels good in your body. I'll cue a bunch of different variations. So the first one is to just take our half splits pose, walking the hands back in towards you, drawing the right toes in and straightening the right leg. If you'd like, you can begin to wiggle your right heel forward, maybe bringing a block underneath your right knee, and then allowing yourself to settle into your splits posture. So with the block underneath the knee, kind of gives a little bit of support here, and this will be one variation. The next variation could be to use your rolled up blanket underneath your hips. Even a block underneath the hips might feel nice here. This is just a little bit deeper. And then the last variation is to slide the leg all the way forward and let the hips melt down towards the earth. And so whatever variation you're in, breathe, try to roll the shoulders back, find a little bit of length. And Hanumanasana is the physical representation of Hanuman leaping so far over the ocean from India all the way to Sri Lanka to start his journey to save Sita. And so as you're ready, we'll slowly start to come out of this. Begin to wiggle. You can move your block out or your props out from underneath you and start to bring your right heel back in. Bend the right knee over the ankle and lift your left knee up off the mat. Step it forward, Uttanasana. We'll hang heavy here for a second. You can let the upper body sway side to side, just coming back to balance through the lower back and the hips. And so when Hanuman got to Sri Lanka and found Sita, she was under this evil spell that made her not trust Hanuman and not want to come home with him, thinking that Ravana was her savior. And so Hanuman had to search the mountain for this magical antidote, herbal antidote, so that Sita would be able to remember him. And so as you're ready, you can step your right foot back this time, left foot leads. Ground the right knee down towards the earth and start to straighten your left leg, walking the hands back towards you. Feel free to stay in your half Hanumanasana pose with the knee grounded, or maybe you can wiggle your left heel forward. Let the hips come down towards the earth and bring a block underneath your leg, or take whatever variation you took on the opposite side. Rolling the shoulders back, finding length through the spine. Yeah. And so Hanuman is like, how the heck am I going to search this whole mountain in time to get Sita home? So he grows big to be way bigger than the size of the mountains and ends up taking the whole mountain with him so that he can heal his friend's wife, Sita. And so as you're ready, you can slowly come out of this posture, grounding your hands, draw the left heel back, bend the knee over the ankle, and lift your right knee. From here, just for the sake of balance, step the right foot forward to meet the left. Bend the knees, ground the hands, and step the knees back to tabletop pose. Kick your heels around or roll forward over the crossed ankles and bring the feet towards the front of your mat. We'll take, actually, let's just come down onto our backs from here. So you can ground your feet down towards the front of your mat, bend the knees, and slowly lower down onto your back. Walk the heels back underneath your knees and plant your hands right down by your sides. Take a deep breath in, press down through the heels, lift your hips, letting the chest come towards the chin for bridge pose. Pulling the heels like energetically back towards the hips to really find that engagement through the glutes and the hamstrings. And exhale to slowly melt the hips back down towards the earth. Hug your knees into your chest, giving yourself a great big hug. Maybe rocking side to side or coming back to those nice circles. And then you can begin to ground the feet down towards the earth. Cross your left knee over your right knee and bring your arms out to T or cactus. Scoot your hips 1 inch over to the left, and as you exhale, let your knees come over to the right for a little supine twist. And so like Hanuman, we might shrink and forget our divinity when we're faced with different tasks because we forget that we're part of the divine and we're able to accomplish the impossible. And this quote is from a book I was reading. It says, in the hero's journey of life, there are confrontations with fear and death. In order to cross each new threshold, seize the sword of sovereignty, and eventually return to the world with the gifts of the self in service to the greater whole of humanity. So we've got to confront these obstacles, have these little deaths in our lives in order to cross that new threshold, to become that new version of ourselves, to discover our inner divinity and realize that we're able to accomplish anything we set our minds to. Nothing is impossible. And as you inhale, start to bring your gaze and your knees and then your hips back to center and uncross your legs. This time, right knee crosses over the left. Shift your hips 1 inch over to the right, and then let your knees come over to the left. Gaze might come over your right shoulder. Drawing your breath in and out of the belly and softening any areas of the body that might still be holding tension, the jaw, the forehead, the lower back, let it soften. And so every yogi is called to be their own great hero. And so this tale of Hanuman can really inspire our bhakti, our devotion and love, and the practices that bring us back to those in yoga, whether it's asana, meditation, breath work, or just the philosophy we live our lives by off of our mats. When we're in devotion to that divine within us, that hero of the heart that lies within each and every one of us, we are able to live from a place of devotion and unconditional love, a place where we're in line with our dharma or our life's purpose. So as you're ready, you can come back down onto your back, bringing the knees, the gaze, and the hips back to center. Draw the knees into your chest and reach for the outer edges of your feet for happy baby pose. Yeah. Feel the lower back lengthen as you draw your knees down towards the rib cage. You can straighten one leg, then the other, rock side to side. Finding the last couple of moments before we come into stillness. Movements, last couple movements. And as you're ready, begin to come back to center, straighten one leg out at a time in front of you. Let the toes melt out towards the side and the hands ground down to a place that feels best in your body, either down by your sides, maybe arms to cactus, or one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. And as you begin to start surrendering into the stillness, come back to that awareness of the heart space, that place at the center of the chest that is the house of our consciousness. Allowing the thoughts in the mind to dissolve away as you guide your awareness deeper into that seat of consciousness, that center of bliss, peace, and stillness. And knowing that when we are able to connect our body and our mind and our spirits all as one, that's really the goal of yoga, right? Union of all the body, mind, and spirit, all those parts of ourselves coming together as one. From this place, we function from our greatest potential. That's where our divinity really forms. And we're able to overcome whatever obstacle that's given to us and allow it to remind us of our inner strength, remind us of our ability to manifest whatever reality we want to perceive. But not so much on focusing on how we can manipulate the external and instead sinking into how we can grow that internal sense of connection with our hearts, with that inner peace, that inner stillness, and let that be the birthplace of all of our, or like the reasoning behind all of our actions in the external. Reminding ourselves of our true power underneath that fear, underneath that doubt, underneath those conditions that make us feel like we're anything but capable of overcoming whatever is in our path. And the path is the journey, right? We can't just only lean into the good feelings. We've got to grow through the difficult ones as well. So maybe let this story of Hanuman remind us of our inner strength and our inner divinity. As you're ready, begin to bring some awareness back to your physical body, starting with some nice deep breaths. Guide the breath down to those bottom four corners of the lungs, feeling the whole body expand with prana or life force. And a deep exhale, maybe even sighing out the mouth. Let it go, whatever residual tensions or stagnation might still be in our bodies. Take another breath like that, this time guiding the breath all the way down to the fingers and toes. Give them a little wiggle, inviting the body to reawaken. And then start to invite whatever bigger movements feel good in your body. You can stretch the fingertips above your head, pointing the toes in the opposite direction, or hug the knees into your chest. And to come out of this, we'll roll over onto one side, taking a moment in our seed pose to pause and ask ourselves, like, where in our lives can we be a little bit more devoted to our inner divinity? Maybe it's in our morning routine, maybe it's in our evening routine, maybe it's in the way that we speak to ourselves behind closed doors. But whatever it is, how can you be more devoted to that unconditional love for yourself and others? How can you be more devoted to your service to others, using your strengths? And once you have brought that intention into your heart, begin to press yourself up and we'll meet in a nice, comfortable seat. You can bring your hands to your heart, honoring this place inside that is the seat of our consciousness, but also the place that connects each and every one of us to one another. Om Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. May there be peace in the world and peace in our hearts. Namaste. Well, thank you all so much for being here in person and online. It was super fun to be here for this class. I don't normally teach it, so thanks for being here, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns.